Wait a minute. Test. Test. Huh. All right. Okay, it's coming. Let me find my phone and I can make sure that it's legit and ready to go. Let's see here. Let's just come back over here. The friend of mine just sent me this, so I'm gonna go ahead. Where the hell did it go?
What's
I
your
never,
what's
I've never been professional. You know, that's part of it.
what's your background, Todd? Is that a silhouette, a white silhouette, a surfer?
That is an old, that's an old, you know, when I used to, you know, when I was on the streets and I started Soulogy, I just wrote words, you know, with my
Mhm.
phone. And then when I
Yeah,
came off the streets, I started putting them to pictures like in 2013. So
yeah,
that's one of the pictures.
that's cool.
But
I
yeah,
always vibe with your words because I went to music school in New York, and so that was full of hip hop kids. So it
no
reminds
kidding.
you're like a you're like a fellow rapper to me.
All right, let's see here. We are we live? Let's see here. Let's make sure. This is gonna be good. Uh, come on, man. Man, there's some weird stuff going on with electronics. I don't know what's happening here.
Are you trying to go live? Let me check.
No, no,
I'll
I got it. I got it. We're good. Oh, we're good. Okay, hang on. Boom. I just want to play
bring
this
in
real
some of the
quick.
guides. The
I want to
27th.
play this real quick. Just God, I can't. I don't have it. I don't have it. Here it is. How do you make it big? Oh well, hell with it.
I see it. Yep, it looks like we're live. Yeah, I got you. Yep, there we go.
Okay, that was cool. Thank you.
Uh,
Infusedlights.com. Gregory Jones. They are our sponsor and co-collaborator. We're just starting this today with this episode with Greg Sullivan, Soulogy Speaks.
Another Gregory. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't talked to you in a while. For those of you who don't know, you might want to go to YouTube because Facebook's deleting all the videos, which means we're going to lose probably about 1,200 of our archives, other than what I have saved here, which I probably got like 7,000 hours saved over here on a
That's a lot
T6.
of a
Yeah,
lot of hard
dude,
disk
it's
space.
man, it's a lot, right? I backed it up twice. But yeah, Greg, if you want to hear his story, and we'll get into it a little bit, you can go to YouTube. We didn't capture all of them. There was a time when they were kind of blackballing us, but there's about 3,000 of the 4,000 episodes are on there. Probably find Greg Sullivan there two or three times.
Yeah.
He talks about his journey, very interesting journeys from New York City, into music, goes to Japan when he's a young man, decides to stay, has a beautiful life, a beautiful family, beautiful children, another one on the way. And
Yeah.
he has these encounters. You know, people have heard of Assetti Ranch up in Washington State. What's his name? James Gillian.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Greg formed Jay SETI years ago in Japan and ran into him in the Portland airport one day when I was traveling across the country. And some crazy tall white dude calls me up, says, "Hey, man, I'm at the airport. Come meet me. I
Yeah.
follow what you're doing." I'm like, "What?" And I go and
Yeah.
sit down with him and like eight Japanese professionals
Yeah.
at a table with him, and we had a hell of a conversation. We actually went live. It was really cool.
I
But
love that
yeah,
recipe too. Yeah.
Greg's the real deal. You know, he's a real deal, and so he's got a pretty good angle on some stuff. We haven't talked in probably 3 or 4 years, and I'm anxious to see what's going on in the Jay Shetty world, what his take is on the fake alien invasion and
Yeah.
the real ET presence. Is it off planet? Is it under our planet? Is it in our oceans? Is it all of the above? Is it interdimensional? Is it us from the future? I don't know. We'll just see where it goes. But it's good to have you back, Greg. It's great to
Great to
see
see you,
you. I'm
Todd.
happy for
Yeah.
you. Happy for
Many
you and your
blessings.
wife. I'm really
Yeah,
happy
thank
that you guys are doing so well over there.
Thank you. Yeah, well, as many thanks to you because you guys are one of the big sparks of inspiration to catapulted us into this next phase, and just with the fact that we all are guided to connect at these synchronistic timings online. I remember, yeah, we did. I was commenting, did a little comment storm on one of your big comeback streams. I think it was probably like a year or so ago. I think it was on some like cosmic alignment, like solstice or something like that. But no pun intended. So, but but yeah, and the time acceleration is just so crazy. Yeah, so ever since we met, yeah, we were doing tours to the U.S. and bringing people to sacred sites and everything. We did a couple. We did one in Hawaii and Maui, which was unforgettable, and then also one of the last ones that was in New Zealand. So I actually started my international journey in New Zealand, and we were over by one of the Lord of the Rings at the one of the lodges that the film crew of the Lord of the Rings used for many months, and that was like blockbuster ET contact. So yeah, basically we hit the pandemic and we really didn't slow down. Everything was under lockdown, but it just made it easier to
Oh.
book hotels and get around. And yeah, thanks to you guys, I uh, I had a my 5D partner, Heros Gamos, partner arrived and yeah, I remember I messaged you and you said, take care, enjoy the roller coaster ride is what you said. And
Yeah,
it was like, man,
that's
I
right.
think we're still on it. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that though. But
It
yeah.
was the talk about the energetic, the chakra docking, like the
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
energetic Hyros Gamma. So
Yeah.
now I did that, and then now we have a second child on the way. It's just long story short.
Well, there could be two or three in there.
Yeah, good
You
Lord.
don't know.
Yeah, I'll be 50 in 2 years. I'm almost 50, so it's definitely I gotta go to
Oh,
the gym more lately and
dude,
keep
you're
up.
braver than I was. I had my last one at 40. And I
Okay,
thought,
yeah,
man, she's going to be 58 when I'm going to be 58 when she gets out of high school. But yeah, it was
yeah,
okay. It was all right. It turned out
yeah.
okay. I'm all right. I'm still here. I'm losing all my hair and it's turning white, but whatever. It's just
You're
weather
looking
down
good.
here. Dude,
And
I mean, it's just
I
a,
noticed you've been you with all your amazing border journeys. I wasn't totally up on that what you've been up to, but yeah, it seems like you've been international and with the visas and whatnot. I commend you for being a true soldier of love.
yeah. Well, you do what you got to do. And, sometimes things work the way you think and sometimes they don't. But yeah, it's funny because I actually can't. I'm actually in Mexico and considering uh, looking to get asylum here with
Uh-huh.
all the craziness going on in the States. And I can't get a passport in the States. And, I don't really want to get locked into any of the Matrix stuff because I really feel like it's all going away. And it's just a literal part of our beliefs and interpretations. But yeah, I'm just listening to my soul, and man, this last few days has just been off the charts. Today was off the
Yeah.
afternoon. It seems like you mentioned Lionsgate. There was of course, last month, but it's like every day is a Lionsgate now. Every
Yes.
day is an
I say
eclipse.
that.
Every day, you know what I mean? It's like it's nonstop, and I don't think it's gonna stop.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So tell me what's going on in the Jay Shetty world.
Yeah.
The
Cheers.
what
Oh my
people like
God,
to
it's been
refer to
phenomenal.
as
It's been just
yeah.
amazing. I mean, ever since so all that when we met and that was all prep work. So we're sort of like, community stewards. And so during the um COVID, why it was so important here in Japan is that up until 2020 there was no real YouTube presence. There was no YouTubers here. YouTube was not a thing. If you can, it's hard to imagine.
In Japan as a whole.
Yeah. So
Oh
I work
wow.
fully. I work 100% in Japanese with nearly 100% Japanese clients
Right.
and our family here, spiritual family. So, and so we were like all those years of prep and study and personal attunement were prepped to hold the amount of people that came in during and after the pandemic. So after we met you, that's when the pedal hit the metal. So it was like I had to pinch myself. I was living my dream, my ultimate soul mission. So during the lockdown, we had at least probably 3 to 4 thousand people come through for private sessions. I was
Wow.
doing six a day. Yeah, six
So,
people a day.
so just so we can get this framed up, just so we can get it framed up properly, so people that aren't familiar with you. So you have a bricks and mortar location,
Yes.
and you have people come in for sessions,
Yeah.
and
Live
basically
them.
you're saying that it was kind of like, moving along in a fragmented manner. Basically, COVID hits, and all of a sudden you're getting flooded with people.
Yeah, yeah. First off, we were did from 2010. Well, from 2010, I was basically just the outdoor ET contact guy, the UFO tour guy, and so we did a lot of that. We did hundreds of those. So of course that's with the CE5 and we've done more of those, that you could even imagine. And so then, like, just I was able to transition into more of the energy work with the ET healing, and so everything fell in together. And one of our long-term friends had a couple of small rooms. She's a crystal. She has an online crystal store, so she provided an amazing. We have a one of the best locations, like in Tokyo, and it's I pay nearly nothing for their place. So
Right.
at that time, I was living very close, so I was able to walk to and from the office, and so yeah. Then the basically just what was so amazing and so emotionally rewarding and so kind of awe-inspiring was that a lot of these people, the wave of souls that awakened during that this whole global shift was a lot of them the biggest difference between the old members, the old participants, was that they had almost zero spiritual experience. So it was like this is my first spiritual session. So I'm not a guy who I was thrown into the deep end with my contract, so I wasn't a huge New Age buff or I had never had a healing session or anything up until I started doing my own workshop. So um, uh, and then basically what was so cool is that to the level of clearing and advanced prep work and advanced DNA work and advanced energy body work that was happening on the first shot. Everyone was able to start to take a series of those with me, and of course I was getting upgraded at the time, so it was like just a spiral of evolution. Um,
Wow.
and so yeah,
So
that's
these people, and I'm assuming, I know you have had some events there. You shared some pictures with us and some video before,
yeah.
which was pretty fascinating. It's the what do you call it? The CT5. What is it?
A CE5, Close Encounters of
CE5. Yeah, the
yeah,
CE5 method that Stephen Greer's made
February, yeah.
real popular. But so what you're saying and I love the way that you're connecting the ET aspect, to spirituality.
Yeah,
And so you're having people there in Japan during the lockdown start coming into your place, wanting to have a session. What were they looking for? What were they coming for? Were they familiar with the DNA upgrade? Were they familiar and now
good
these
question.
sessions are ET facilitated?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
definitely based on some of the energetic synthesis. Lisa Renee's work, of course, that's a huge inspiration for me as well. So the those are sort of my kind of mentors, my mentors and ether, and then my soul family too. I have soul contracts with my quote unquote teachers,
Right.
and then basically, yeah. So I was already a household. I was already sort of a household name, and then we got picked up by these the new wave YouTubers. They were also amazingly supportive. So that's how our word got out. And a lot of these YouTubers actually happened to live outside of Japan. So one of them was in India and another one in LA. So their their fan base also was quite rabid for this information, and
Wow.
so I had like streams of people coming in from all directions, and there was an interesting, of course, at the same time with all the agendas, Todd. A couple of things happened. One, we had a cross current, and why people were so. Um, of course, with the lockdown happening and this global pandemic, it was a major spark of inspiration for enlightenment. But also there was elements of that were trying to
Yeah.
not hijack it, but there are obviously, as you know, elements that trying to direct that in other directions. There was two major ones in Japan. One was another sort of new face in the spiritual community who became a um, very big voice. And he was started to make some predictions that like there was like a gate energetic gate closing at the end of 2020, and then that got extended to the end of 2021, kind of like false prophet predictions.
Right,
So
right.
part of the inspiration was that people were like, oh, we got to hurry up and enlighten, and we got to hurry up and awaken. So I never had to confront that. The fact that they were coming and getting the clearings and the healings from Star Family was enough for me. Um, the other one that became more of a problem was the QAnon thing. And if you look up on CNN, the second largest QAnon Trump movement in the world was Japan, next to the US. And
Really.
so this was a huge topic of, many YouTubers became viral and complete fraud. And they're
It's
saying,
still going.
yeah, they're
It's still
saying
going.
I just talked to Trump and this and that, and because of my disclosure roots, I was the person who brought disclosures to Japan.
Right.
First they hijacked the word disclosure, and then suddenly anyone they're trying to politicize it, and so it wasn't a huge thing, but it was obviously it was like it was like divide and conquer. So it was like our YouTube channel, our channel also took off, and the when the shadow ban really started is when I predicted the 2020 election via the ET guides, and I said, it's a neutral prediction, but Biden's going to take it, and
Right.
it's going to be for the higher good because the left has to wake up too.
Right.
And I
Right.
I channeled a message that was
Mhm.
accurate for the next year and a half, and it was that we had a really powerful group work that day. It was 11/11. I think it was just after the election, and I said, "Screw it, I'm going to do it. I'll do this prediction," and I hit it, and that's when they knew. That's when the powers that be knew that they couldn't steer me, and I was already beyond their matrix. So
Right. Right.
our channel experienced a heavy shadow ban after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that.
Bleep out all those keywords, bleep, beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep.
Believe me, I can relate to that. No, no
Yeah,
doubt. A strange thing happened in June, though. In June, we've been stuck because we're in four different platforms. But so the original Soulogy group was stuck around 46,500 for that whole period. Like it
yeah,
just stopped, and then
yeah.
it
It
grew.
stops, right? It stops.
Yeah,
I was
it
at
just stopped. Yeah.
33,000 on YouTube.
But
Just
in June, something in mid-May, I started really re asserting myself because I started to feel the change. We can talk about that. That what's different now in 2025. But yeah, in June, it increased about 20,000, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
yeah,
Uh,
the
so
break took off. Yeah,
yes, something's shaken up. You can feel it every day. But yeah, you've actually, I mean, you've come a long way, man,
oh
since I
yeah, I've
met
been.
you. I met you in
Oh god,
2018,
yeah. That
2019.
was just before the cusp of it all. Yeah, and
Yeah, 6 years ago. Yeah.
mhm.
But so now, so you have people that come there for sessions. They're
Yeah,
ET facilitated sessions. How many of you over there, or is it just you that's conducting the sessions?
good question. Yeah, so basically, yeah, people like so again, I was doing year-round ET contact events outside, so I paid my dues. I was like, I had totally gone through the trial, the spiritual uh training, hardcore training, life on the road, out and months at a time, not getting home. That was awesome. But now with the lockdown and bit of a different family life, I was able to shift in and also do the indoor work took over. Like so, all the awakening and the process just got compacted. It just got advanced. It just got more evolved. So all the things that you could expect to have happen with a major ET sighting or of crafts or interaction with ships outside was able to be congealed into a 30-40 minute experience indoors now. So that's why it was
Okay.
like, so
Okay.
people lie down on the. I have just had them lie down on the. And we had done several years of prep work on my team, my sort of inner circle, and myself with this. So I had already experienced it all. So that's how I was, and I was pushed by the guys to do it. I never thought I was going to be the person doing private sessions.
Now
Um,
you're speaking of what we might call non-physical friends or physical
yes,
friends.
not physical friends.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I
yeah.
thought. Yeah.
So I don't do any hands-on. I just guide the
Yeah,
meditation and the work, and they come in. So yeah, they people lie down on the chiropractic, this the massage table, and I basically just go through an indoor sort of this the room becomes a chamber, and then
right,
we open the session and close it, and then in the middle there's several different types of programs we do, and so yeah, like I said, it's we experienced tons of just a phenomenal clearing. It's just going beyond 4D, basically. So all the things that people got stuck on, even the fact that you can remove one simple entity possession or one implant, that's a life changing experience right there. You know what I mean? So as you've experienced, so
yeah,
um, to be able to do that and not really have to go into ego and a lot of explanation. So I don't do really readings.
right,
So
right.
people coming from
You don't listen to stories.
yeah, no story. Yeah, we don't need it. I just said
Yeah, you don't need a story. Yeah,
this is gonna go right to the root
yeah.
and take care of the deeper levels.
Now,
So,
now, there's been some interesting information come out of Japan in regard to that whole thing. That I've read from time to time, where they're looking into, looking behind the curtain when it comes to the COVID thing, the mandates, and all that stuff. Which is interesting because it speaks to the level that culture's tapped in, which doesn't surprise me because they're very,
mm,
very intelligent people, very intelligent.
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Ethnicity, and it's just a historical bomb of explosive energy if you look at their history, which I know you're a lot more familiar with it than I am. But in terms of like the ET part of it, spirituality, do you feel like that Japan is on the forefront of this thing? As you can point to a country in terms of like, let's say a higher percentage of people that are tapped in. Do you feel like that's happening there, or is there still a lot of the old paradigm in place?
Yeah, I think that's a great. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that was like what was so elating. What was so elating about this whole post-COVID thing was that the type of people coming in, they're just so pure and like they were next level, like the real star seeds that were on the center stage. Who picked that moment to really wake up and go right into experience. So it's the kind of runway, the lead up time, it was now gone, and people are right into this really deep actual experience and the a fast track you might call it. Yeah, but and then so obviously the openness. And then at the same time, speaking of which, yeah, so the media control, of course, on the issue, I think we might have even touched on that last time, where there's a lot of disinformation, and the UFO subject was heavily, heavily controlled here. So we were an island in an island nation here, as far as only one of the only people talking about disclosure up until that time. And then, so what was nice about the YouTube explosion was that the TV culture that was so dominant, they were at the top of the pyramid. They started to get panicked, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's finally here. Our throne is being threatened." So their security, their sort of their their bar was lowered, and I was on TV three times like carte blanche, and
Wow,
they followed it. They went out on the field with us, so there was yeah,
wow.
so one amazing shift after another, yeah. So
Do
to
you-
answer the question is though, yeah, people are so open to it, but there are still since it's that hive mind here,
yeah,
there are still sort of these really tricky control mechanisms that sneak in and sort of divert, so
yeah,
people start to move in a wave one way and then they're like, oh, so there
yeah.
are still diversions happening. So it's sort of like at this point, I'm really like, I know it's a soul choice and I've actually finally gotten over my sort of stickiness and my empath thing where it's like, I need to say, you become, what is it, the healer syndrome where
Yeah,
you need to save everyone. So I finally pulled out of that. And, in the last year or so, and
yeah,
just said, look, I mean, I can't take responsibility for
yeah.
um, all
Let
we
them
can.
come. Let them come or not.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Are
you're on. You feel like at that point you're on stage, and then you also want to hear what you're saying from the
yeah,
seats, from the audience. So it's this kind of impossible paradox. So
yeah.
I finally got over that and just said, all I can do is be on stage and broadcast, share what I share, and that's it. Whoever gets it gets it.
So are you online broadcasting a lot every week?
So yeah, I was doing a lot of streams, and of course, I was one of the first people who had a lot of the online tools here. So we had our community. We were firing on all pistons. So that whole thing lasted all through the pandemic and until about a year and a half ago. where it started to slowly peter out. And now with all the major outer planet shifts, that happened, I've now had another kind of like metamorphosis, and just sort of like um, yeah, the online presence thing sort of like is
Yeah.
fading down. And now it's almost like, now I almost look at it as like, and I noticed you post about this now. Now we're in this vacuum where it's like everyone's going in their own multidimensional direction, and the more eyes on me now seems like it's like that's actually holding me back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a 180-degree phase flip that happened. So now, up until now, it was like, get, as many people as we can get things out
Yeah.
to, and just broadcasting. And now it's gone internal. It's flipped 180 degrees, and now it's like I kind of been shown. Of course, I resisted it at first. It sucks to be shadow banned. It sucks to have
Yeah.
your audience drop, and you can really feel that. And I
Yeah.
realize now that that was a wave of it was a wave of time. It was an ascension window,
Right.
and we're not meant to be doing the same thing. That falls, you fall into entropy when you do that. So
Right. Right.
I had to
Right.
remind myself, and the guides had to remind me that we're not leaving you, we're not abandoning you, is what they said. I was
Yeah.
on my balcony out here, and they said we're not abandoning you, but we need to make some
Yeah.
major shifts, changes. So
Yeah,
um,
that's the same timeline for me too, because it's about a year and a half ago,
is it?
everything kind of stopped, and then I started picking it up at the direction of my senses or my team or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I started picking up around mid-May, like I
Mhm.
said, and it just blew up in June. We had 4.5 million views. Now that's all posts. That's not just videos. In June alone, and I'd never approached that on one platform. That just, and then, then it dropped. It's probably about half of that now, but it's sustaining itself. So something happened. It was almost like we got deconstructed and then reconstructed,
Yeah.
but building with new components rather than pieces of the old. It's like if you have
Yeah.
any components of the old, it's not going to work.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Oh
I'm
my God.
I'm
Yeah.
actually finding in the last 2 weeks, like there's been an upward incline since the 1st of June. And I'm
Yep.
finding in the last couple of weeks, the summer was like a purification. Like everybody got their feet to the fire. But what I'm finding is these pieces, these seemingly unrelated pieces, which are people and initiatives like yours or like mine, and they're coming into the same space with me.
Mm,
Nobody
yeah.
wants anything but to do what we came here to do. And it's in the beginning of it, and there's 5 or 6 players involved already, and I can feel this is what's happening. My, guides are telling me that. My guides are
Yeah.
saying, don't worry about, like if I look at my YouTube now, it's probably 10% of what it was a year and a half ago. But
Yeah, that's
they're
the
explain
psychological game. You think?
right?
Do you actually unsubscribe from a channel, Todd? I mean, do you really? It's such a psychological game, and I
Oh
noticed
no,
that you don't really unsubscribe from a channel.
no, no.
It's like,
They've YouTube is both of them are well, but what my sense is what my guides are telling me is that don't worry. And they
yeah.
actually told me this. They actually told me this when I came out of the blocks in 2012. They said, don't worry about the number of likes, don't worry about views.
Hmm.
Everything's upside down. Everything that you're doing is upside down. So you're
Yeah.
actually, and I've seen evidence of that as I've gotten back into this. I've seen evidence of two things. One, like this onslaught of new audience, and
Yeah.
this affirmation of or confirmation of people that have been around for over 10 years. Like I just
You're
booked
really
two.
tapped into that.
Yeah, like people are like, "Oh, I've been watching." I just booked 2 shows, and both these people go back to 2014.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's like, wow, I've never had you on
It's
the
all
show,
timing.
and yeah. And I was going to ask you, are you running into a lot of people over there that are having galactic memories, so to speak, or identifying with their galactic aspects?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, again, like so you asked just to cover back, you said like so yeah, why and I asked myself like so we were one of the basic stalwarts doing the ET thing, doing the disclosure thing. So it's like with integrity. So and I wondered like why if it was another person, I would have immediately created like a practitioner system and a 3D pyramid around it, and
Right.
I didn't do that. I didn't want to at all dilute it, what's happening. So, um, but I wondered, like, we're lighting so many people up, like, won't I know? And then, of course, several of them went and became and did something with that. Of course, they became an act, they became a YouTuber, they became a practitioner, they became a counselor,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and so, yeah, again, it's like I said, that soul thing. Even though if you um, bring the camel to water, it's up to them whether they're going to drink or not, right? So,
Yeah.
and then I think that a big about that June thing, by the way, one thing I experienced is that, yeah, so like why I even mention that is that this year, like from about a year and a half ago, like the guys, the way they pull back is like I have never experienced such radio silence. You know, I have never experienced of all the times like up until this lead up. We would get like kind of like a 6 month wind, like a little bit of a 6 month inkling, and like oh the wind's blowing in that direction now, and it was up until
Oh,
now, but this time it was like complete radio silence.
you're talking about your team.
My team, yeah. The way they pull back and like, okay,
Yeah.
not only is everything cooling down
Yeah.
with the online
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like, okay, where are we going? So, and then when June kicked, then when Jupiter moved from Gemini into Cancer, well, I'm a Cancer, it kicked up this amazingly beautiful storm of information because it's Gemini is communication and information. So I was finding so many amazing key videos and like the next steps started to come in and so that's been still continuing even now. So I think a lot of people were stimulated by that move from Jupiter out of Gemini. When it moves signs, it kind of like it kind of keeps it as a vortex. So yeah, and then as far as the galactic awakening, people are yeah, I've amongst that time I also released a book that was like an indoor contact method. So like I don't want people to be completely reliant on the session works.
Outdoors. Oh, I see.
That's, by the way, I called it Liquid Soul. Remember that name,
Yeah.
Liquid Soul? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a word that came from me. So that's the energy body. It's like your soul is the aura, and
Yeah.
it's like liquid. It's like this plasma behind me, right? So, and so, yeah, people are waking up, and then so amongst that wave, yeah, it's like amongst that wave there was the looky loos, So at the time I didn't see it, but there was just looky loos. There were people that were being had a fire under their butt because of that prediction. Um, and then so that was when that all passed, like it separated the wheat from the chaff, and the real people were left over. By the way, we also had Todd another major prediction here in Japan that's gone viral over to English media. I don't know if you heard about it. It was the July 5th prediction. This was also an Illuminati Archon mem of the giant the catastrophic earthquake, and that's part
Oh,
of what Lisa Renee calls the Armageddon software. And
right.
it's the
Right.
GBTs stimulating our cataclysmic trauma memories from
Right.
Atlantis, Maria, Hyperborea, etc. And
Right.
it just came over here like a mind virus. It was so bad.
Wow.
We had people canceling. We have
Really?
we have record tourism highs. I live in Kyoto now. So we went from no visitors, no foreigners here in Japan to like now it's like record highs in, since ever. So,
Wow.
considering doing an English channel now, English YouTube channel, because there's so
Right.
much esoteric Japanese spiritual information that's not in English. So that's another thing I'm being prodded to do. But so that was another major distraction. So, as you ask, are people having their galactic star contact? Yes, I wish it was more, but we have these like side streams coming in where like some of our members, like they were at a hotel that night because they thought their house was going to fall down if there was an earthquake. They were predicting like the big one, like a magnitude 9 point class.
And where was this coming from? I mean, I know ultimately it was coming from the negative ETs, but
Yeah.
where was it coming from on the boots on the
It
ground?
was
Was
a
it the
manga. It was a comic, a Japanese manga comic, and the woman who
uh
released it predicted 3/11, the Fukushima disaster. She predicted
uh
that to the day, and so obviously that became topic on all of the hot. YouTube then obviously became like TV. It just became the next TV. So like
yeah.
the names that are out
Yeah.
and in your face are the ones that promote the agendas. So. And then CNN picked it up, and then we had people canceling so the tourism dipped in July because of the prediction, Um,
Wow. That's
so
wild.
it was, and then it ended up happening. It did happen, but it was totally like I said, like, everyone tune into Gaia. Like, the ET, the Armageddon type timelines ended in at least 2017.
Yeah,
That's done. So, what happened was, we had the tsunami warning flashing on the TV, and it just was a normal day. It occurred. I don't know if you saw on end of July,
yeah,
and it was outside. It was on the far north side of Japan, on the in the remote peninsula off of Russia,
yeah.
and it
That's right.
triggered.
Yeah,
There was a wave that hit California. It was across the
yeah,
entire ring of fire.
yeah, yeah,
So, but it was a totally normal day, no fear. And I was
yeah.
like, look, I told you that there's so many ways that Gaia and the guides can take care of this. No fear.
And
Don't.
and what's the state of the government over there? Is it pretty much like everybody else? Just they're still playing the game, going through the motions.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. For
of
sure.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course. I mean, I don't even know. That was probably a dumb question, but um,
yeah. No. But yeah, there are obviously there are it is falling apart though. So like obviously we had the assassination of the Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister Abe there, and that really brought up a
wow.
lot of stuff. And then we had that was like what 2 years ago in July. And then uh yeah, the good news is, yeah, with the politics, the cracks are really showing. And then the dominant party here is they lost some of the major elections this year. So there's a new party that's coming up. And definitely like yeah, there's some Japan's facing some major problems, like with the baby boom generation passing, and the lack of there's a birth decline that's been
Yeah,
very famous
yeah,
here. And then, of course, right now we're also getting pummeled with the weak yen. So like part of the reason why a lot of people couldn't take part in the events and sessions in the last year or so is because of how bad the economy's been. So
really.
yeah, so it's been a total shift here. So um, the whole scarcity, what is it, the manufactured lack, all that stuff. So we're still processing through those survival things for sure. But yeah, I just look at that wall with neutrality. And I
Sure.
try and people are, and I think that's a good thing. People are definitely the runway, let's say the bridge between the 3D problems and then the galactic level is getting a lot clearer, and that roadway is now way very open. So those who want to walk the path can definitely.
Yeah.
It's all the dots are now have been fully connected. I can say that on a positive note for sure.
Are the is your team still crickets? I mean, is it still like no radio communication? Are you
No,
picking up
no, they're
more
here.
now? They're
No,
back.
I actually,
Yeah.
the really good thing is in August, the Lionsgate was great. So a lot of my projects are really pumping. So I'm working on my magnum opus, my disclosure book here. So I'm
Oh
working
wow.
on that. And
Wow.
now with the, actually, I was pretty anti AI, but for writers and stuff like us, it can be handy. So where I've been
Yeah.
using some of the tools to take care of the heavy lifting. So in this book is going to be like my interview with Clifford Stone and some of the disclosure projects, some of the big wigs, and I interviewed Clifford and Roswell for 4 hours, and also I interviewed Mark McCandless, who was the guy who broke the ARV, the man-made UFO thing, way back.
Right. 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 Right.
He actually passed since then, so those guys are going to be in there. Stephen Greer, Paola Harris, yeah. So yeah, that'll be my final kind of UFO research thing. I'm like you. I want to be more into the total heart, the deep ascension stuff. That's my gig
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
full time.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's what getting married and having babies can do to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we got to do the kids, take care of the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you, Todd, we had so getting it back to that, although we had we went through, as you guys know, because you and Morgan with the all the advanced stuff you did, we did the 5D jump, but we're now in our third, I hope, of three major spiritual trials as well. So we with the hierogrammic relationship came a whole lot of interference, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
right from the get-go where we're sitting ducks.
Yeah. I had a
Um,
guy, I'm having this guy come on now. He's been on twice. Be Tuesdays in the Northern Hemisphere, Wednesdays on Southern Hemisphere. His name is Gareth Jenkins,
mm,
and he started 2 weeks ago. I didn't know him, and he's got a great story. I mean,
yeah.
it's a really good story. It's 4 hours right there, those two episodes combined. But he talks about, and I was just cutting it out for somebody. I think it's at an hour 20 minutes to about an hour 35 minutes of the second show, which was this week. And he talks about the energy of those couples, and he
Mm.
talks about what it's like, and he's lived it. He's lived it,
Yeah.
for years
Yeah.
and years, and like going back to the 90s. And he actually hooked up with three people that he didn't know as he was guided to leave Australia, go to England, goes to this bookstore. Somebody's standing outside smoking a cigarette, looks at him, and goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you. I know who you are." And so it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So him and these three others end up doing kind of like the Seth or the Raw sessions,
Yeah.
where they're connecting to this was the moniker was Tom, but it was God, and so kind of like the conversations with God and the Raw sessions, that type of thing.
Mm.
But anyway, he talks about that, and so it's very
I'd like to learn
refreshing.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very refreshing to see in the flesh, like these are all new templates, and
Yes.
we're creating new code by these choices that we make, and then and I can't imagine because I'm too old, but to have children brought into that, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine because the children that I'm running into are off the charts, man. They're not
Yeah.
even they're not even talking, and you can just feel it. It's not
Yeah.
like it was 20 years ago. So, that factor. What is your team saying? Are they saying anything about what's going on, how we're doing, anything like that, what we need to do, or, I know I hate to use the word need, but like the state of the union.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think that like that whole multi-dimensional split, it's see, people talk about the bifurcation, but it's really a multifurcation. That's what
Yeah. Yeah.
the word here is takyokuka. And yeah, so it's really, I think it's just you're just getting into your own zero point. It's like we're actually beyond that collective shift in a way, and now it's like in the end, it's like your frequency, how much you can do that alchemy and how much you can really commit to that final stage. And you kind of think sometimes you think to yourself, oh, I've gone this far, that's fine. But then you really, if there's further to go, you should, So, and then yeah, I think so. It's like all the information is that's meant to come to you will come, and as long as you have your antenna out, people who are searching the answers are now easier to find than ever. And
Yeah.
I think yeah, I think it's like it's not about proving it anymore. So it's just about go now we're connected. What can we do with this? And what yeah, and it's also one of the things we were tasked with was a major 4D cleanup. So all of our skills were put to the max, test on the max. So we were raising our daughter. Sky was born in a not you wouldn't even call it a haunted house. I mean, this thing was a we were living in a Stephen King movie. It was like we were behind enemy lines. And I'm not joking. This was like
Wow.
Kobe. We were in Kobe, and so we were on mission. We were on the most ultimate missions ever. It's like never seen this type of
Wow.
spiritual warfare, and so the baby is like an antenna because they
Yeah.
can feel. So
Yeah.
yeah, we had our daughter's mother. She's an Arcturian. She's an Arcturian starseed. We know her mom's name. Her mom comes in sometimes, and we also my grandmother passed, so I was able to. Um, uh, I am now able to connect people I know and loved ones because a lot of our clients also passed as well in this shift. As you know,
Yeah.
a lot of the souls left the earth. So
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
having so what part of our it was not interference, but it was like help. From the I was asked people were coming to me like I'm here living my life, and then all of a sudden I never knew this person actually passed
Right.
and they connected with me in spiritual work like that, and so they're coming to me, and it's like, and now I can do the retrieval, up to 5D.
Right.
So I put my grandmother on a ship, and she came in, she helped us move to out of that place. So we were moved out of there in like a execute extraction, it was that bad,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
but anyway, yeah. So yeah, the State of the Union. I don't know. I think it's definitely like that, like something you posted just yesterday. I think it was like that vacuum. Like there's just such enjoy the silence. Like you have to really dig deep, go into the silence. And
Yeah.
and dig deeper than you ever dug into that inner well, the wellspring. And so and with that new template, like there is no manual. We are
Right.
off road. There is no manual, and we have to do the co-creation. So it's like, where do you want to go? It's like imagine if you're still in your body, but you've already passed. And it's like, okay, now where do you want to go? What do you want to create? And it's like And all the references that weren't your own. So like we're now shedding all the programs that weren't our own. So that's such a great thing. So now you realize like, oh my God, I was on autopilot all that time for something that really wasn't mine. It was a stage burner. It was a part of
Yeah.
the rocket, but now that's been shuttled and so scuttled, and so it is so it's so it's so organic, but it's also it's so counterintuitive to us because we've been on all levels. We've been referencing,
Yeah.
that sort of false matrix, that old world. And I love what who was the friend of yours, the amazing. He saw the inverted matrix.
Oh, Franco. Franco.
Franco, yeah, I loved his broad. I
Yeah,
love.
Franco, and that's interesting because for the last 4 days he's come back in.
I know he's probably in too. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably
he's
coming.
come back in, and so
Franco.
something's starting to shift. I can feel it, and not only has he come back in with me, but he's come back in with a few other contacts, and we've
Mm-hmm.
run into each other. Yeah, there's some stuff going on in dream state. There's I've had that happen last week. I have pretty strong recall with my lucid dreams most of the time. And last week it was all of us. We were on this ship, and I've been on the ship, but I'd never seen this many people. There was like I'd say normally I see 20 or 30 people. It's like 300 people. We
Yeah,
were all
yeah,
dressed in white. Nobody was nervous, and it was like we were getting ready to go perform for the first time, like we were coming out. And
yeah,
we had practiced and mastered it for so long that we were all very confident. And when I woke up, and I was like, what was the theme of the dream, And when I woke
yeah.
up, I thought of that 7 mile long UFO thing that they say is coming in
Oh,
November.
right. Here we go again. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
and that's what it felt like. It felt like those aspects of us were coming to meet these aspects of us. Something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Some kind of merging or something like that. And so that happened, and like two or three other people I talked to, very similar things. So I feel like this second half of this year is going to bring a lot of expansion, a lot of growth, a lot of new awareness, and of course, as we expand in our little soul families and cells here on the boots on the ground, and individually, the distortion will continue to play out, and I feel like it's part of that multi furcation that you're talking about.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
because yeah, it's almost like everyone's going to where they can, where what matches them now.
The frequency match. Yeah.
Right. And it
It's
doesn't
like
mean they're going to stay there. It just means they've got to stabilize somewhere and then go from there. And then we
yeah.
keep
Yeah, I
going.
mean, so we moved out of Tokyo and we moved to this Osaka, Kyoto area, and it's like, and I'm thinking, I check myself and say, wait a minute, I haven't hung out this person, I now live so close to them, but I never see them. It's like, we're in our own,
Yeah.
we're so committed to a daily, one day at a time kind of thing, and then of course with that, like I said, with people suddenly passing, and then there's the yeah, I think we're like beyond that collective. It's like a new dimension of the collective. So we're being really prepped, yeah, like energetically primed, and the decks are being cleared. I feel like, yeah. So it's like as now we're finally at where has always been talking about, where it's like, we're beyond all the labels, all the names,
Yeah.
all the everything. It's like, well, that nothingness. It's like such a zen thing.
Yeah, it is because it strips you down to nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you
It's like
literally
it's
are nothing, there's this,
Yeah, you're just nothing. Yeah, and it's like, so who am I? And it is the year of the snake. So
yeah,
I'm the year of the
yeah,
snake, and it's a slow shed though. It's
yeah,
super slow.
yeah.
But we were being shown, like, my friend who was here from England. He was in Japan, and he did the 88 temple tour in which is one of the famous spiritual pilgrimages. It's the famous spiritual pilgrimage in Japan. My buddy Neil from Brighton, England, and his book he wrote, or the movie they made, is called the Disappearing Path.
Okay.
And it's like, as soon as you walk it, it's gone. And so we
Yeah,
were being shown that, like, our car dealership, we had all these people, like, we would interact with them, and then next thing you know, they were gone. They were in a different job. It's like, wait a minute, so it's like, once a step is complete, it disappears. It's like all these strange things like that, like the time acceleration, is being shown to us in so many ways.
Do
But
you do you do you feel like that? Because obviously time's done some weird stuff since the last few years.
yeah,
I mean, it's not the same thing, but space. You know, the idea of space. Like you and I have a space between us right now, or do we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like this year it's starting to do the same thing time did. Um,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and some of this, and it's funny you mentioned the snake thing because you know it was a long hot summer. It's still going on, but it was about that period about 7 days ago. I went and sat outside in the courtyard in the chair I always sit in. I looked down at my feet, and there was a beautiful dead snake at my
Uh-huh.
feet. And
Yeah.
that kind of started everything, you know, from there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
lucid
Yeah.
dreams, the connectivity with other people, the ships, because I don't see a lot of ships when I lucid dream. I
Hmm.
have, but I don't see them. When I do, they really stick with me.
Stick out. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so and a lot of the dreams I've had in the last month, and some of the people that I've run into have a similar feel for it. Is it we're getting prepared, we're in the final stages, and we're lining everything up and about to pull the trigger or pulling the trigger, you know, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Yeah, we'll see. I think the that whole Atlas thing is like another chain, and I mean it's another test. You know, are you going to
yeah,
fall into the fear
yeah,
trap? You know, it's such a it's so ridiculous. You know, how predictable the you know the all this has become,
yeah,
and I say, come on, bring it on. You know, you're going to
yeah.
destroy. They're going to destroy their own system. They're destroying their own matrix. I said, bring it on. Do something crazy. You know, just you know,
Well, I
because the
mean,
next
that's the crazy thing. I mean, you know, and I talked to I used to ask Franco about this stuff, you know, privately, and on most of the stuff that we talked about, I was able to get him to talk about it you know, on the camera.
yeah
But yeah, like who are these people? And he's like, well, look, their job is to make it so ridiculous that you choose yourself, basically. Like
yeah
you
yeah
just say, no, I'm not participating. Like,
yeah
and you know that you'll flip that switch in your head right down to the last person. But yeah, it's kind of hard. It's not as hard as it used to be to kind of you know get to that vantage point of the soul's perspective and say, okay, I get this. You know, this is not
yeah.
it's not
Well,
real, but it's
that
quite
and the Epstein files too. That woke a lot of Qers up too. The Epstein
well.
thing.
It's yeah. Well, you know, there's still people out there beating that Q drum, but even like today was a
They're
good
the
was a
agents.
good
They're the
was,
agents and the people who are mind controlled by them. That's why I said in
yeah, of
Japanese. I said
course,
the
yeah,
only people left in Q are the disinfo agents from,
yeah,
you know, all the intel groups, and then the
yeah,
people who are completely mind controlled by him.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I saw that thing today where you know the ladies came out, the ones that were abused, and said
Yeah,
we're gonna make our own list, and then you see the hot potato gets put back on the you know the on the politicians, and they're going, oh fuck, man, you know,
yeah,
like nobody gets out alive, nobody. The
yeah,
truth is coming out. Period. End of story, and it's most revealing about yourself,
yeah,
which is very humbling. Man, I would love to get together with you again.
yeah. There's so much to do.
Are you available next month for like a long play, like
Sure.
maybe an
Oh
hour and a
yeah,
half, 2 hours?
definitely. Yes, yes.
I'll hit you up
I'll
and
talk about that. I'll talk about the miasm purge next time because that was my ultimate stripping. You know, that's just coming on, just
yes,
finished.
I wanted that. God, we didn't even talk about
Yeah,
that. Yes,
that was just
when
beyond.
when you said that to me, I
Yeah.
went like the hairs on my back stood up. I went,
Oh
oh
my
my
God.
God,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I know that's we need to tap into that.
Yes.
I'll send you a message here
Cool.
in the next couple days, and we'll set something up for like a long like 2 hours. And
Amazing. Yeah, I didn't mean to rant there. I just got excited. You know, it's
no, no,
this.
no, no. It's just I'm just getting back into the high volume stuff again, 3 and 4 shows a
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So I messed up a little bit and I squeezed too tight
No
together. But
worries. Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. But
Bless you,
man,
God. Amazing, my brother. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, I love you, man. I can't wait to see
It's a
you
big
again
heart,
in
big heart.
person.
I love
Yeah,
you. Much love, much love.
right on,
Lion love.
man. And hey, listen, blessings of peace, grace, and love to you and your beautiful family, man. All right.
Thank you. Same to you. All same to you. And enjoy the beautiful.